Morning traders, it's Matt here from the Forex Coach, and it is the morning after the big events of yesterday where we saw a big sell-off on the major stock market indices. So we'll just have a look at that shortly, but before that we've taken a trade this morning. So we've got a short on euro pound, and first target is just down here, and second target is slightly below. So if we look at the 1 hour chart, we've already come down and hit this 21 period moving average a couple of times. We've had a push up, so we've got kind of divergency type behaviour, and we're now looking for a continuation of this sort of what it was trying to do, this move down. Now this second target is an attempt to catch this 50 period moving average, which is scooping up underneath it. If we look at the 4 hour chart, we're getting to the realms of being overbought. So it's had a good run up, and from here we can obviously see the potential of getting this pullback. And on the weekly charts, you know, we were in the process of creating some sort of bearish pattern here. So we've just pushed up onto this upper price envelope here. So that's that trade, and let's just have a look at the stock indices and have a look what happened. So big one yesterday was Dow Jones. I think it's the recorded biggest point loss that it's ever had. Not percentage loss, so we've got to remember that as the market grows and gets bigger, the volume and the amount it can move gets bigger without the overall percentage. But that was a huge sell-off. Look at that. Frustratingly, we took a short here, around about here, I think, and we ended up getting stopped out. But you've got to be always careful, you know, picking tops and stuff. And unfortunately, we missed that one by just over a week. But that would have been a beautiful, beautiful trade to have caught the top of that. With a target down. And my target originally, when I was looking at the short up here, was this 21 period moving average on the weekly chart, because we could see it was tested back here, and it hasn't been tested since May 2017. So I mean, it just smashed through it. But if we look at the monthly chart, it's come down into this lower price envelope. I had a cheeky little long off of about 4 o'clock this morning off of this price envelope down here when I saw it came down into that, but it's had a little push up. But you know, it did close strongly negative yesterday, but I can't see, for me, I mean, I can't get short here because there's no way where you can decide where to put your stop losses. And if I was to get long, again, the momentum's coming down, so you'd have to see it scooping around. But I would expect there to be some sort of bounce. If we could get a bounce back up to these sort of levels up here, so around 25,000, then potentially that would be a good place to start putting some short trades in, and trading that for a run down. But this could be the start of the big time correction. You know, if we look at the cycles that I've got here with regards to my my oscillators, you know, we are overbought, and this could be the start of the sell-off cycle, which could see us coming down to this 50 period moving average, and could see us over the course of the next few months coming back down to sort of the 20,000 levels, maybe even as low as 19,000. So yeah, huge move, and we can see it's just pushing up a bit at the moment. So to see how that one plays out. But yeah, so we're in the euro pound, and just have a check on that. Okay, so we're in the euro pound, and we're going to manage this trade. I've got 2 lots on this one. So I might take some profits off, because I don't usually like to run 2 lots for a lot, but I'd be happy to sort of run between 1 lot and half a lot. So between these 2 targets, there might be some sort of profit taking happening. Okay, just back, and still sitting in this this trade, but I've also just taken a short on Euro Yen. You have got to be careful when taking multiple trades the same currency, so you're kind of overexposing yourself to, so in my case, to the euro. But I've seen this opportunity for a short-term trade. We've come up on the 4-hour chart. We've nearly touched this upper price envelope, and just looking for some move back down to continue the downside trend. So it's a shortish term trade because it can move fairly quickly, as most yen crosses can. So that's the plan with that one, but they are kind of all interlinked, these trades, because as I say, they're all based on euro weakness. Hi guys, just back, and we've gone through TP1 on euro pound, which is good. Part profits banked, so I'll have a look at the stop loss on that shortly. And the same for euro yen. We've also gone through TP1 on that, so we've banked some profits there, which is good. Okay, just back. So I've adjusted stop losses on both these trades now. So just because the size of the trade that I had, and the fact that I've got to go out, I've actually took a bit more off. So I'm just leaving half a lot on now on this trade. But I've just moved the stop loss down to just above this high. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we've still above this the previous high here, and we're still above the price envelope as it curls round, which would be good. So happy with that as it stands there. Now if we look at euro yen, which is coming off nicely at the moment, we've got the price envelope for the 4-hour just above there, so I've trailed the stop down to just above that, which will provide us with some protection. And target price I'm still happy with, still a possibility it could get down to that on this move down now. Okay, we're just coming close on this euro yen down to target price. So just thought I'd record to see if we can catch it live as the limit order is triggered. It's very close at the moment. Limit order is currently at 135158. Okay, it's literally on the limit order now. It should close out if we can just have a small blip down. Okay, that's TP2 hit on that. So we've just got the euro. We just got the euro pound left on now at the moment. Okay, just back, and it's had a good push down, this euro pound. It's now in the realms of oversold, so my rule at this point is usually to exit the trade, but I'm happy to hold out to target on part of the trade, so I'm just going to leave a quarter on and just knock this down to 0.25 of a lot. Okay, just back, and I've just been out for a few hours, so I can see that we actually got stopped out on the euro pound, that final part. So we got in around here somewhere, come down, took some profits, and since then it pushed up and would have took us out on, I think, probably this candle or this candle here. And that's fine. It was only a small part left, so it's still, you know, well more than profitable trade. Whether this now comes off, I'm not sure. Picture does look slightly different on the 1 hour chart now. and but we are sort of overbought on the 4-hour chart. So I would consider taking another short on this this afternoon, depending on obviously what sets up. Ironically, the one that we did close out earlier on, Euro Yen, was the one that didn't. It came up, but it just kept going. So in hindsight, if we had left the part on that one, we would have been in a better position. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. Just looking at the stock market, so they are holding down. So we had this push up, and we're not getting this sort of V-shaped bottom, which I didn't think we would. Often when we see these big moves down on these indices, we see tremendous buy-in coming back in, and we often get these V-shaped bottoms. But what was different yesterday is just the timing, really, because the daily bar closed so strongly and so negatively that momentum just continued, which I didn't think we were going to get, the US participants coming in and sort of buying it straight away. Now, that's not to say that we're now in a position where they couldn't start buying it and we could see it coming back up to, potentially, it could quite easily come back up to these levels today, or it could, carry on selling off. But I think, look at these moving averages, it's just smashed through them all, which is very rare for it to do, but it has. Big sell-off. They provided very little support. You can see there on the daily chart, we had a bit of a bounce off of the 50 there, and the 100 just got obliterated yesterday, and we've almost been down to the 200 period moving average. Now that's interesting because often when we get a low like this, bearing in mind that there are people getting in long stops below it, sometimes you might see a retest of that low before it then retraces. So I will keep my eye out for that. If it does come down and take out that low again, potentially make contact with this 200 period moving average, then that may be worth looking at just for a speculative sort of long side trade. I mean, you're getting in at a price now, if you were to go long, or from the low here, you'll be getting in at a price that it was at back in, let's just scroll back, you'd be getting in at a price going back to October 2017. But it's often the way, with these indices that, they take months and years to rally up, and then the crashes are very, very quick. If we go back, look at the monthly charts, and we can see that some of these crashes, some of these moves, I can't hold it over there, but they happen very, very quickly. But not a move like this. I mean, I must admit, I haven't seen a move like this for a long time. I remember when 500 pips in a day used to be huge, or 500 points in a day used to be huge, let alone 1,000. So it's double that what we saw yesterday. Hi guys, it's Matt back here, and I am wrapping up this video. It's quite late now today. It's 7 o'clock. I've been in and out a bit today. I've had a fair bit on. So yeah, we just had those two winning trades this morning. Euro pound short, and there was a second setup on this, which frustratingly I missed. So we took the original entry over here, and we took the exit down there, then pushed back up, stopped us out, and pushed on further, had some divergences, and this was the actual setup of the day. Would have been taking this short up here somewhere. Unfortunately, due to timing, missed that one, and I was looking out for it. It was on my radar for the day, because I could see on the 4-hour charts we had that potential to put in that candle and then start this potential move down. So I knew that there was that possible change of momentum coming there, and unfortunately missed it. But that being said, this could now push back higher and create a divergence on the 1-hour chart before coming around. So potentially tomorrow there might be some setups on that. The other trade that we had was the Euro Yen. It was a quick trade. ironically, it should have been the one that we should have kept on, because that just kept going from our entry, and we would have had a nice exit on that one. But nevertheless, 2 winning trades, and a mixed day for me. So I'm up for the day at just over £200. Currently, I've still got one open position, which I'm just trying to exit at the moment. But I was down significantly overnight, and it just made me think about a lesson in trading, which I'm just going to talk about now. So I was having a really good day yesterday, and was up about £600, something like that, last night, or £500. And we had obviously this huge sell-off on the major indices, and as a result of that, I got a little bit caught out. So at the time, we had 4-hour momentum, which was quite positive. We'd had this sort of move higher here on dollar yen, and we'd had a pullback, and we put in this nice strong candle, and it had come back down, and it then pushed down lower. And basically, looking at the daily chart, we still had this possible pushing up of this strong momentum, and I ended up buying dollar yen, various levels, to be honest, last night. And I'll show you the particular candle, which is the one that tricked me in. If I can just change this off auto scroll, bear with me. Chart auto scroll. I'll tell you the exact candle which caught me out. So we had this blip down, and this is the point where we'd had the euro, or the major indices sell off. We had this big volume candle come in, and this big positive strong bar. It then retraced. So I took some long entries up here, and unfortunately lost some money because it then just kept going and going and going. So I had a few big losses overnight, and when I say big losses, I'm talking £400-500. So I was actually down today about £500. Now, when it comes to trading this morning, I did have I must admit, I did take a couple of longs off of dollar yen from down here and make a little bit back. But I had this feeling that I just was focusing on dollar yen, and this is a common thing in trading. No matter how long you've experienced trading and been trading for, you can always have this this almost revenge trading where you've been hit by the market, it's stopped you out, it's taken some losses, and you're like, right, I'm gonna win this back, but I'm gonna win it back on this particular pair. And it's a terrible tactic, because you're basically limiting yourself to a pair which not only stopped you out, and the momentum's probably going the opposite way, because it's very rare, if you've gone long and the market's gone against you and it's gone short, it's very rare that your psychology will then go, I'm going to go short now. Most of the time you keep your stubbornness that you're going to be right, and you keep going long, and that's where the market can stop you out a couple of times. But you have the tendency to think, I'm going to revenge trade, I'm going to win this back on this particular pair. And I had the fault this morning, and it happened to me, and I was like, well, what am I doing? I'm spending too much time looking at setups on dollar yen. I need to just stick to what I know, and just treat it as a completely fresh day. But as I say, when you have days like that, and it's frustrating, because you think, well, the setup was right, and usually this would work, and this time it's just stopped me out. And the last thing I want to do is get stopped out, and then the overall direction I was right on. But you just need to go, well, I've taken the loss, and I'm just going to look a clean slate and look at setups based on their merit. And anyway, that's what I did, obviously. But I was just thought it was a good point, because it came to me, and I hadn't had that urge for a while. And I thought, that is something that's really common, especially in new traders, where you try to revenge trade. So nevertheless, we had these really good trades this morning, and I ended up, from being sort of £500 down this morning, I've ended up closing out the day £200 in profit. So you know, the days can turn around quite quickly, whereas a losing day can keep stumbling. Now I'm just looking at these indices. Last note of the day, indices, we had this strong volume coming in, the strong move up. It's kind of petered out, and it's just consolidating at the moment. For me, you know, it might come back down. It was going to be interesting to see if we get a retest of these lows. Overall, I could definitely see us getting more of a bounce from here, because we've had such a huge move. But I think volume's going to be increased on the indices for a while, which should be fun. So levels to get in short would be, you know, if we could get it back up around the 25,000 level would be nice. Anywhere around this sort of zone would be nice to get in shorts. If it does happen to get up there, but we'll have to wait and see with that. So yeah, really big day actually. One of the biggest days yesterday and overnight on the major indices that we've had. So it's actually an interesting day's trading. Incidentally, the safe haven, which is the yen, isn't really reacting like it used to, which is quite interesting. The yen used to really be, you know, I mean, when the stock markets were plunging like they were, the yen used to be extremely strong as a safe haven, but you know, it's really not that way anymore. It does react a bit, but nothing like how it used to. So it's just something that I'm noticing at the moment. So safe haven's not so much yen as much as it used to be. So that's it. End of trading for today. I hope you've had a good day's trading, and I'll be back tomorrow.